Welcome back, everybody. Great to have you here on this Training Thursday and High Performance Health Show on the Cabral Concept. One of the most, I would say, pressing questions I get from people is, how do I boost my testosterone levels naturally? You've shared with me before that most men don't need to do or even consider any type of TRT, etc., until their later 50s to mid 60s. So how is that possible when about 25 to 30% of men are showing up as lower testosterone for their age range, and it seems to be getting younger every single year? Well, here's the big thing, is that we need to look at what are all of the causal factors for low testosterone in the first place, right? So it can literally be everything that I wrote about in the rain barrel effect. It could be diet. It could be exercise. It could be stress. It could be environmental toxins. We know that for sure now, right? It could be not enough sleep. It could be emotional-based issues. It could be not taking the right supplements to actually boost testosterone in the first place. If you're low in zinc, if you're low in vitamin C, like right out of the gates, right? You're not going to make enough zinc. Okay. And then what else? Well, it could be the overall exercise plan that you are doing or not doing. And that's what I want to talk about here today. All right. So the first and foremost is that men and women. So again, this is for both men and women, but specifically, I would say I get more of the questions from men, right? So both men and women need testosterone. Make no mistake about it. Testosterone boosts mood. It boosts overall energy. It improves your exercise and exercise tolerance and recovery. It's great for ambition, drive, libido, strength, you name it, right? Helps stave off osteoporosis and sarcopenia in the future. So it's needed by both men and women. No doubt about it. Okay. So having said that, the people, I've got 5 categories here for you and 5 research studies. So I'm going to link all of them up at stevencabral.com/3394. I always share with you the science, but also what works in the real world. And having worked with clients now for over 25 years in the real world, hundreds of thousands of clients, I can share with you that this does work. But here's the biggest issue, is that not exercising alone leads to a decrease in testosterone levels. And that includes just walking. So you know that I love walking. If you do nothing else for movement, you walk. Literally, that is it. But it's not going to be enough to really boost those testosterone levels. Now, it will, though, keep you foundationally sound. Why? Because walking 7,500 to 10,000 steps a day improves overall inflammation in the body. You'll probably get a better night's sleep. You'll probably reduce stress, right? So it's doing a lot. Okay. So I want to say that walking counts, but it is not part of a formal exercise routine. I want to say that again. Walking is part of being human and part of being healthy, but it is not exercise. Okay. Human movement, yes. Essential for health, yes. Should it be the first step in moving up to exercise? Yeah. So in my clinical practice, we work with a lot of people with chronic fatigue or thyroid issues, etc. We may recommend only walking, but that's not where you end up. It's where you're at for maybe 6 to 12 weeks before we increase you to the next level. Because remember, when you look at this over a lifetime, rather than 4 weeks, right? Then you can have a whole plan. So ideally, you want a whole plan. All right, but I digress. So walking, amazing, but really not going to boost your testosterone levels. Not like these next 4. All right, so we'll go over this. Well, 3 and a caveat. All right, so the first one is this: endurance-based training. I'll get to the one that everybody thinks I'm going to talk about next, but endurance-based training. So here's what I found over the years. From we'll call it 18 years old when I was working with clients to call it 28 years old. I was just obsessed with body transformation, regardless of health implications. Meaning, I wasn't trying to make people unhealthy, but there was no need in my body transformation programs for anybody to do any cardio ever. Everything was weight training with some high intensity intervals and nutrition. And I didn't need you to do any endurance work. You know why? Because we couldn't see your heart or your lungs or your overall health. Again, in the 20s, body transformation, that's why people came to me. And I gave people exactly what they were looking for. That's what they wanted. Great. So that's what we did. However, in the long run, not the best idea. So again, but like luckily in life, we get to keep learning, right? We don't get to just be 24 years old forever. So that's a big part of it. Okay. So here's a study I wanted to share with you. And it can be cycling. It can be jogging. It could be rowing. It could be running. It could be swimming. It could be doing whatever you want for endurance space. But endurance space is like zone 2, zone 3. It's getting your heart rate up to 60 to 80% of your max VO2. So just quick, you can do 220 minus your age. Let's say that it's 40. So you're at 180, right? So 220 minus 40. All right, 180 beats per minute. Again, just general guidelines. That's your max, we'll say. Multiply by 0.6, and then you'll find your low number, and then multiply by 0.8, and that's your high number. So you'll just want to stay within that range. That's all during your endurance. Okay, so now let me share with you the study. In overweight men who don't currently exercise, it can take as little as 12 weeks of 40 to 60 minutes of walking, brisk walking, so zone 2, so it's not your regular walking, or jogging 1 to 3 days a week to increase levels of both free and total testosterone. And many see a boost before 12 weeks. So again, 12 weeks in our practice is phase 1 of a health protocol, essentially. It's the first 12 weeks, right? That's where we see a tremendous difference, but you're just setting the stage for even more amazing things to come. So 40 to 60 minutes, 3 days a week, maximum. That would be like, let's say, well, we'll talk about weightlifting in a moment, but let's say that you did weightlifting Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Cardio could be Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday for 40 minutes, 60 minutes. But again, we're not talking about crush your soul cardio. We're talking about putting an iPad up on a screen or your phone and watching your favorite show for 60 minutes on a bike or whatever it is. And just get your heart rate up to, for most, 115 to 135 beats or 120 to 140 beats. That's safe for most individuals. 120 to 140, enjoy a show, a podcast, and it's so good for your body and your testosterone levels because it helps balance this next thing, which is weightlifting, right? So endurance is aerobic. Weightlifting is anaerobic. Aerobic, bring oxygen to the tissues. Anaerobic, take oxygen away, essentially. It has more to do with the mitochondria and how they function and create ATP, but we'll save that for another show. So here's a nice little study for you, because I think most people think weight training boosts testosterone, and it does, but it's pretty amazing. So anabolic hormones such as testosterone and growth hormone are all elevated for 15 to 30 minutes after the right type of resistance training. So what are the right types of resistance training? And by the way, it then becomes yours. So it's elevated after weight training, resistance training. That just means pushing against resistance, right? But baseline levels then increase. That's the great thing about it. So you get to take that with you. So if your testosterone levels were, let's just say, for free testosterone, an 80, right? You can boost them dramatically after a workout, but then your new baseline after 6 to 12 weeks might become 100, right? So like it raises it overall. All right, so let's go through this. So lifting high volumes, meaning a large number of repetitions at moderate to high intensity with only short breaks, you can be sure that you're stressing with major muscle groups. Focus on your legs, back, chest, and shoulders, which are the major muscle groups. So people are doing bicep curls and tricep press downs. If you want to boost testosterone, chest presses, right? Shoulder presses, lat pull downs or rows, squats, deadlifts, step ups, and lunges. Those are all your major lifts. Pushes and pulls for the upper and lower body. Then of course you can do a little bit of core work if you want, but not going to boost your testosterone levels like the others. Now, here's what you want to look at. The volume isn't as much as you might think like, oh, I need to do 40 sets per workout. No, you're going to do 2 to 3 weight workouts per week, and you're going to do about 2 to 3 sets per exercise. And you're going to choose 5 to 6 sets maximum per workout. It could literally be chest press, one arm row. And then let's just put a shoulder press, dumbbell shoulder press, back squats, Romanian deadlifts. Now, that's not an example of a great workout program, but that's it. That's it. And if I multiply all of those times 2 sets, I get 10 total sets. If I multiply by 3, I get 15 total sets. It's going to take you no more than 30 minutes to 45 minutes to do that workout. And that's the perfect amount for a weight training workout, about 40 minutes. After that, if you're really training hard, cortisol levels can start to rise and testosterone levels can actually have an inverse effect. We'll talk about that in just a moment. All right. So very straightforward, but this is strength training. So like you could even do that as a circuit if you wanted to, but you're going to take rest in between. The goal is not pumping your heart rate high for weight training. It's actually resisting weight against the body. And then each week, trying to get a little bit better for 4 to 6 weeks, and then change up your workout. I have a whole book on that. It's called A Man's Guide to Muscle and Strength. It's for women too, but the publisher wanted to name it for men. I make like $1 per book, and you can find that on Amazon. And all book sales that I ever make, I donate to charity anyways, 100%. All right, high intensity interval training. We've got another type of exercise I wanted to share with you. I'm going to make this super simple in just a moment, but this is a study of 60-year-old men. So again, you say, well, by the time you're 60, your testosterone's declined so much, right? Well, let's look at the lifestyle that we're living. I have many 60, 70, 80 plus year olds in my practice, and we measure their testosterone and they're doing great. So 6 weeks of high intensity interval training helped increase testosterone as well as improved athletic performance in a study of 60-year-old men. What was it? It was literally 30-second intervals. That's it. Rotating 30-second intervals. That's all they needed to do. And examples could be, it could be body weight. It could be burpees. It could be jump squats. It could be high knees. All like these are all things that we've done in our practice. Or hop on a bike, do a 5-minute warm-up, then sprint for 30 seconds, and then pedal very slowly for 60 to 90 seconds before sprinting again for 30 seconds. And then just do that 5 to 10 total times. That whole workout will take you no more than 12 to 20 minutes maximum, depending on the total number of sprints that you do. Super easy, super simple, and can be done after a weight training workout. So let's make this even easier. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you will say like that'll be your weight training workout. And then after one of those, 2 maximum, you could do a 30-minute weight training workout. You could do a 20-minute interval or 15-minute interval. That's it. 5 to maybe 7 of these 30-second intervals maximum. Like, again, let's just say 5. Okay. So 5 times, let's call it 2 minutes per interval. That's 10 minutes. Your 5-minute warm-up, that's 15 minutes. All right. So like very easy on a bike. I'm just using a bike. You could use whatever you want. Super simple. Now, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, you could do your cardio. And that's going to be for 40 minutes to 60 minutes. But again, just watching your favorite show, just enjoying the podcast, the social media, whatever, but doing cardio at the same time. That's a perfect workout for most individuals and more than you probably need. Like you could do Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, take off Wednesdays and Sundays, and that would work as well. So don't need more than 1 to 2 maximum HIIT training workouts per week, 2 to 3 cardio, 2 to 3 weight training, and you can design it how you'd like. Now, the last caveat is this, because some people will hear this, they'll say it's too much. Some people will hear it and they say, well, if a little is good, a lot must be better. And that's why I want to share with you another study that shows that in 25% of men, when they push exercise too much, it creates an experience, in quotes, called exercise hypogonadal meal condition. Didn't even know conventional medicine had such a ridiculous phrase for basically saying when you over-exercise, you drop testosterone. Your testosterone levels reduce. So this is for men doing like CrossFit 5 to 6 days a week, training for Ultraman triathlons, like any of those things that can actually dramatically reduce testosterone. I've seen it in my practice many times because when you overdo something, it's hard to recover. Like you need to recover. That's a big part of it. So like even the exercise routine I gave you, if you're not also prioritizing 8 hours of sleep, it's going to be difficult to boost natural testosterone levels because the goal is stress the body. Very little in the beginning. That's why walking is our first recommendation. Then you stress it a little bit more and then a little bit more, but you're getting enough sleep and proper nutrition and supplementation in order to be able to fully recover. So when you stress and fully recover, that is when your body becomes even stronger. So hopefully this was helpful today. I'm going to link up the studies at stephencabral.com/3394. If there's any additional questions, let me know. You can ask them actually at stephencabral.com/askcabral or leave them in the comments, and my team and I would be happy to help. Take care, everybody. Have an amazing rest of the day. Of course, share the show with anyone you believe it could serve. And again, that's at stephencabral.com/3394. Have an amazing day. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.